So, unfortunately, we're going to be a little bit glary. I was hoping to use Streamlabs to do this, but unfortunately, it requires two things. One is the Streamlabs software, which I do have, and the second is some technical skill, which I do not. So, I'm trying to stop the glare as much as I can, but I am having difficulty at the moment. Hang on, let's see if that helps. Bear with me. Apologies for this. Where does that need to be? It needs to be sort of there, shouldn't it? Yeah. The thing that makes it good for painting up here makes it very bad for viewing my screen, I'm afraid. So apologies, but we're going to have to. I think we're just going to have to get on with it, I'm afraid. So. Well, Olaf, what can I say? There's nothing wrong with being excited for the trailer. So apologies about this. At least you know that I'm wearing clothes while I'm doing this these streams, because you can see me in the reflection. So hello and bonsoir. So first things first, it is called Napoleon. That is a huge improvement over the original working title, which was Kitbag, which is an absolutely appalling title for a film about Napoleon. Possibly one of the worst titles I've ever heard. But there you go. It's not called that. It's called Napoleon. So that is good. I'm just moving my DDR flag a little bit in the way so you can't see the absolute state of this room. So there we go. So let us begin with the trailer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pause it and discuss things as we go. I might end up going back. I'm hoping that I think it's spelt right, Bub Creature. I think you've done. I think that's how it's spelled. But it's right. I'm the last person to criticize anyone's spelling. But I hope they are here for you today, because AB minis are absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I will pause it as I have something to comment on. Let me move that back a little bit. This is not my usual setup. There we go. Hello, you can still see me. Right. So let's see how we get on. So first things first, Napoleon, not Kitbag. That is thumbs up from me. Let's go. We get a bit of volume going on. Oh no, we don't have volume. Oh no. This is turning into a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? So that is my DDR flag. Give me a second. In fact, I'll give you a close-up of it while I sort my computer out. Hang on. Right, there we are. So, having it muted, that was probably not the best thing to do. So, let's have a go. So that's like, I'm not sure what went on with there, but best Germany. Yeah. I'm saying nothing. So France, 1793. That's clearly Marie Antoinette. I don't mind Marie Antoinette's outfit there. Let's go back a little bit. Let's check out her wig. That's a bit of a weird thing for me to say, but we'll come back to that in a second. So that's her wig. She's coming out there for her execution. I'm not entirely certain where she was executed, actually. I think, wasn't it at the end of the Champs-Élysées, not the Arc de Triomphe, the other end, which there's no building like this, so I guess they could be taken out of the Louvre at that point, I guess. Although why she'd be in the Louvre, I'm not sure. But Place de la Concorde, that's where the guillotine was. So I'm not really sure why she's coming out through here, but, you know, whatever. Now, one thing that I will say is, in fact, no, I'll save that for the end. So, yeah, so she's got this sort of nesty wig on, which is fair enough. I think that's probably what she would have worn at the time. We've got people flying the tricolour. Okay. I'll allow it. So we got peasants throwing stuff. Now we've got we must make an example or France will fall. I assume that is going to be Talleyrand who's talking to Napoleon there. He was obviously a rather feisty gentleman, shall we say. very much blowing in the wind. If Talleyrand's going to be a main character, possibly a protagonist, don't mind that at all. That's her being prepped for the guillotine there. What would you do with this? Now, I'm not sure Napoleon was even in France when Marie Antoinette was guillotined. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that one. Answers on a postcard. He may well have been. I don't want to say he wasn't, but I have a sneaky suspicion that he might not have been. The colour of the tomato spot is a bit too intense. 1 out of 10. It is. I think that comes from the oversaturation of the colours in the rest of the shot. So I think that's probably why that appears a little bit much. But yes, I agree. When I first saw it, I thought it was either a like a syphilitic wound or like a gunshot. But yeah, I believe her hair was cut short to shame her also before getting the old chop. You know what? I can absolutely believe that. That's certainly something the French went in for World War II, wasn't it? I did hear a story once that if you walk in on a French girl and she's in the bath, she'll cover her hair. So there you go. I don't know how true that is. I can tell you it's certainly not true with some Europeans, but that's what I heard about the French, so I don't know. But yeah, so that's getting the old choppy chop. Fair enough. So that is him. Again, I'm assuming it's Talleyrand. I don't know. I assume it's Talleyrand transferring the defence of Paris over to Napoleon. The old whiff of grape shot instant, which is what we're going to see in a second. Now, this I kind of like. The street is nice and narrow. That's something that Paris certainly had at the time. Very narrow streets, very easy to barricade. You've got a flag with the fleur-de-lis on here. So that's, that's royal. That's cool. And you've got the red and blue and white flag here. So that's good. It looks like that one there is a royal flag with gold fleur-de-lis on a white background. So that's the Bourbon. So, yeah, I mean, that looks all good to me. Looking at the crowd, it looks like a lot of them they're wearing like trousers and boots, which again, the sans culottes were the name of the rebels, which meant that they didn't have the stockings that, say, the middle class had. So yeah, not too sad with that. Oh, hang on, hang on. We do it from here. So we've got that looks probably I don't know what that is. It looks bigger than a 6-pounder. Doesn't look as big as a 12-pounder. Probably a 6-pounder. So we'll go with that. Murat, of course, he brought the guns to the Tuileries, which is where this should be. So the Tuileries is just a garden now. He brought the guns. They were horse artillery guns, if I remember correctly. So they should really be 3-pounders. But you know what? It's not necessarily the end of the world. The crew are wearing bicorns. That's nice. Normally, they would have shakos in these films. So it's nice that they've got the revolutionary hats on. 8-pounder. It could be an 8-pounder. The French didn't really go in for 8-pounders, but I mean, it certainly could be. Again, it looks good. Napoleon's got his general's hat on. So, yeah, don't mind that so much. Yeah, so far, okay. Yeah, don't mind it. That's a good shot there of the oh, hang on, I've gone back way too far there. The good shot of the cannons opening up. Let's see if I can get back to there. A little bit too far. So there we go. So you can see here again, these cannons are actually being fired. This is not CGI. You can see how far they run back on the trails. So that's good. I mean, they're not firing live ammunition, obviously, but yeah, so that's good. Now this here looks like it's in. It looks like it's in Morocco or Malta, which is where Ridley Scott filmed Gladiator. But I assume it's supposed to be Toulon. It's supposed to be southern France. Again, we've got a trickler here. Okay. We'll move on. Oh, hang on. Go back. So we've got this looks like he's got like a red plume. He looks like either an ADC or maybe a cuirassier or something like that. He's got the tails on his coat there, so he could well be a dragoon. But yeah, he looks cool. This guy here is a grenadier in his bear skin. looking awesome. This guy in the background here, he's wearing a casque, which is very similar to a tarleton. Again, very classical Republican thing to wear. You'll see a lot of those in Egypt, or you would have seen quite a few of them in Egypt. Napoleon's wearing his gorget. I don't mind that. So this guy here, I'm not sure. I think that might be Frion. I've seen a painting of him that looks like that. He's got that sort of hat on. So yeah, no, I don't mind this. That could well be Frion. He might be named in the film. He might not be. Now we get to a party scene. It's interesting the films that it goes through Ridley Scott. So what have we got? Alien, Blade Runner, Gladiator, Black Hawk Down, American Gangster, The Martian. No mention, certainly no mention of Alien Covenant, because that was absolutely terrible. So no mention of that. So yeah, I mean, he's gone through most of his historical films, so that's that's fair enough. That's what you'd expect. This is a party that he's at. This fella here, unless that is going to be Toussaint, not Toussaint Louverture, unless that's going to be what's his name? The father of the writer. It's blah blah blah. The man in the iron mask, Dumas. Unless that's Dumas' father. Or it could just be the lighting. Not sure about that. Let's hope it's not an Anne Boleyn or a Little Mermaid situation. But let's see. What is this? So that's Napoleon. Now, someone's just mentioned in the chat there, Joaquin Phoenix is too old to play Napoleon. There's a good, another good one of him. I have to say, Joaquin Phoenix is way too old to be playing Napoleon. Now, Napoleon at this point should be about 18 or 19. He's just finished his association with Jacobins, or maybe he's getting in to the Jacobins. He's too old. Thank you, Lost Heretic. Now, this lady who he's going to meet in a second. So this is Josephine de Beauharnais. Now, I mean, come on. So he was 24. There you go. So he's a little bit older. So he was 24. He's not 50, which is what Joaquin Phoenix is, though. And Joaquin Phoenix is an old-looking 50. Now, Josephine was older than Napoleon. And that was really that's crucial to her character. It would have been crucial to her character both dramatically and historically. She was a lot older than Napoleon. She told him, not told him the how to behave, but she showed him how to behave around polite society. Napoleon, of course, was a Corsican, which are sort of seen as being fairly rough and ready. So the fact that Josephine introduced him to society was really important. A real missed opportunity here, I think. Also, when you consider that a lot of actresses say there's no good roles for actresses beyond the age of 30 until they start playing Lady Macbeth. This would have been perfect for an actress in that age range. Now, I originally heard it was going to be Jodie Comer. Huge fan of Jodie Comer. Absolutely loved Villanelle. Well, season 1 of Villanelle. Help that she was in. Superb. Apparently she's very good on stage in this play. I've not seen it. She would have been ridiculously too young. She, of course, was in The Last Duel, which was Ridley Scott's last flop. Yes, but he didn't mention The Last Duel. He also didn't mention Kingdom of Heaven, but we'll move swiftly on from there. Clive says she's not a mulatto. Yes, no, that's true. Again, this would have been a really good opportunity. Hollywood obviously likes their casting of diversity. This would have been a really good opportunity to cast someone who is mixed race, and it's a wasted opportunity. A real shame, I think. The hair makes me super angry. The hair is like a rejected what's her name out of Stranger Things. It's a rejected Winona Ryder haircut from the 1990s. Now, don't get me wrong, I quite like Winona Ryder from the 1990s. Although I might also be having a bit of a like a little bit of a flashback moment, because when I was like a teenager, my girlfriend had hair that was very similar to that. So that might be a personal dislike of it. So. Bub Creature, go on. I'm hanging on. What are you saying? I think beyond Napoleon and some of the women. So what do you guys think so far of Napoleon and Josephine? Obviously, we've only seen her for a second here. They're pretty close to the portraits. Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. To be honest, I think Napoleon and Josephine disappointing. Let's move on though.
What is this costume you have on? This is my uniform.
Now, presumably, this is Napoleon at the siege of Toulon, I would imagine. Now, I can't think of many sieges that Napoleon took part in. Certainly when he had his early battles like Arcole and Lodi, they weren't sieges. This one is. So he doesn't sound like Napoleon either. He's not got a thick New York accent. So yeah, I don't know what that's about, but he needs one of those as well. Let's have a look. Can I? Oh, hang on. I want to see if I do that, then the camera just compensates. All right. Well, let's see. He looks a little bit like Rod Stewart there. So that's rather unfortunate for him. Right. So let's see how he goes. Just happy we get a big. And you know what, Lucas, you've spoiled my my ending, but that's okay. I don't mind. That's basically what I think we're going to come down to. But let's push on.
I led the French victory at Toulon.
So we got some ships being absolutely devastated there. I'm not. Sorry, Lucas. Sorry. Again, I'm certainly no expert on the siege of Toulon. It's my understanding that there were no British ships destroyed at the siege of Toulon. I thought they were just sort of, fired at, and then the British ships were like, well, I think we'd probably better get out of here because it's getting a bit hairy. But you know what? It's who doesn't like to see a ship blow up? Anyone who's seen the battle report will see how much I get excited, even when it's one of my own ships blowing up.
What is your name? Napoleon. As the course of my life just changed. Napoleon.
Now that's got a load of heat actually online because they say it's a real on-the-nose line. I mean, it's not great, but there's been a lot worse. Now this here, this shot, absolute chef's kiss. What a phenomenal shot that is. Now this is obviously based on the painting of Napoleon before the Sphinx. What an it's just incredible. And I think now is the time to talk about the cinematography here is absolutely phenomenal. I think of all the historical inaccuracies, and we're going to get into one in a second. I know General Dan's watching. I know he's waiting for this, but the cinematography looks absolutely superb. This shot alone, absolutely phenomenal. I don't know if it was filmed in Egypt. I'd imagine almost certainly not, because there's all Cairo behind here. So, I mean, that might have been digitally removed, or this whole thing might be CGI. But this, for me, is what CGI is used for when it's at its best, for doing terrain, terrain, background, things like that. You look at something like Lord of the Rings, where Weathertop is all CGI. That, for me, is where CGI should be used. That's why I'm not interested in man in cape beating up man in suit. It's CGI. It just does absolutely nothing for me. This, however, absolutely phenomenal. A1, absolutely love it. Great. Now, this is the bit for General Dan. Let's play it, and I'll come back to it. So, we've got here Napoleon. There he is. And he's firing his cannons, and the immediate cut is to the cap of the pyramid being hit there with the cannons. Now. This, what's the expression? Boils my absolute piss. That's the expression. I don't know where this myth's come from. It's done by the Hoteps that Napoleon fired his cannon. Now, normally the myth is that Napoleon, you can tell by the tone of my voice how annoyed I'm getting. The myth normally is, let's scroll to when he's looking at the Sphinx. Just, that calms me down. Such a good shot. Hang on, let's get back. Right, the myth is that he fired his cannons at the lips of the Sphinx to, so I don't know if I'm allowed to use this word on YouTube or not, but the lips were considered by people at the time they could have been called Negroid. That's not what we'd say now, but that's what they would have said at the time. So Napoleon blew the lips off to stop them looking like it was the face of a black man, because it was said at the time that black people couldn't have been that sophisticated. So that's Napoleon wanted to erase that from history. I've never heard of there being a story that he fired cannons at the actual pyramids, but he did neither of those things. That is complete and utter garbage, rubbish. It makes me so angry. The lips were mostly weathered away. There was some destruction by cannon fire, but it was actually done by a sultan in the 16th century, or it might have been the 15th century actually, trying to demonstrate to the Mameluke governor of Egypt the power of gunpowder. So absolutely nothing to do with Napoleon whatsoever. It makes me super, super angry. So angry. Anyway, let's move on.
I'm destined for greatness.
So that line there, I'm destined for greatness. That to me, I like. Again, it may not necessarily be the world's greatest line, but Napoleon was very much a believer in destiny. He was very much a believer in his own destiny, and very much a believer that he was, born under a lucky star, one could say. So I don't mind the character being like that, because that, from what I've read in Napoleon's memoirs, was very much his opinion of himself. So yeah, that's good. I like it. This shot here, this is an overhead shot. I'm not sure how well it's showing up on the screen there. Let's go back.
Napoleon.
As the course of my life just changed. Napoleon.
Just quickly going back onto those guns as well. Yeah, the guns look good. Again, that's Napoleon in his general outfit. That's how he's been painted, with all the gold braid on his trousers there. Happy with that. Bicorns, great. Tricklers, we'll move on. Yeah, no, good. So here we've got a close-up. Cuirassiers. Now, cuirassiers would traditionally ride dark horses, but they're all riding whites here. Now, it's very unlikely, A, that they would have whites at all. But, again, you could say that they've come over, they've got Egyptian, Arabian horses. I mean, we're clearly back in Europe again, aren't we? But let's just go with that one. Traditionally, cuirassiers would have ridden dark brown or possibly even black horses if they could get hold of them. Black horses are obviously very, very highly sought after, though. This shot here, so you've got a thin skirmish line there. You've got like a wedge of cavalry, almost like an Alexandrian wedge of cavalry there, smashing through them. So, yeah, I mean, it's a beautiful overhead shot there. You've got the lines of infantry. Now, this shows very much the deployment of a column of attack, really. I'm assuming that these are Austrians, because I'm assuming this battle is Marengo, for reasons that we'll get to in a bit. They certainly wouldn't have deployed like this at Marengo, but whatever. It's a lovely shot. I'm willing to let that one go. Yes, the horses is a super mega minor gripe. Yeah, I get that. But if I'm going to analyze the trailer, I need to analyze everything. Now here, this is the image that I've used. I was originally going to use as the thumbnail for the whole video. This is, again, it's an absolutely fantastic shot. Napoleon on a white horse. Now, well, he's actually on a patch horse here. Now, Napoleon did have a white horse. I've seen his bones, old Marengo. He obviously wasn't riding Marengo at Marengo, because that's why he's called Marengo. So, yeah, I mean, he may well have had a white horse. Why not? Now, here we can see, it looks like this guy here has got a cuirass on. He's also got a bicorn on, which is fantastic. That is exactly what they wore in 1800, which is when the Battle of Marengo is. Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. You would expect him to have the helmet on, but nope, he's wearing his cuirass and his bicorn. He's actually got a little metal skull cap under his, well, he should do, under his bicorn. So, nope, that's fantastic. These guys could be consular guard. It looks like he's got a strap that comes around here, and the bottom of his habit, his coat, comes down here. So again, that's accurate for the period. He's also got a curved saber, So I'm assuming that these guys are the consular guard or the guides because they are riding alongside Napoleon. Now, Napoleon taking part in a cavalry charge here. How many cavalry charges did Napoleon take part in? The same number of ladder escalades that he took part in? Absolutely zero. In fact, Napoleon was famously a very bad rider. He had terrible posture, apparently. And he was infamously a bad rider. So he certainly was not taking part in any cavalry charges. However, it's a fantastic shot. I love the slow-mo. And you know what? I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. But if it increases the excitement of the battle, then I'm willing to let it go.
I suggest you take the throne.
Now this here is an interesting shot. The rest of the trailer seems to have been in chronological order. This, however, is from, I assume, when he returns from exile in Elba. So you've got the Shakos. We've seen nothing but bicorns so far. So we've got Shakos here. They've got the late imperial plate. They've not got the lozenge, which you might expect. Now this guy is a voltigeur. He's not wearing a colpack, which makes me think again that it's late. Napoleon himself is wearing his Colonel of the Chasseurs uniform and his long coat. Now these were both more commonly seen in the later empire than they were in his early days. So who carries a whip in a cavalry charge? Well, I don't know. I'm fairly sure several British generals and French generals did. I mean, hell, LaSalle used to carry a pipe. So Rich says, in R6, Ridley Scott made a movie that would appeal to the wider public to put bums on seats rather than something that's going to appeal to middle-aged wargamers. Yeah, that's true, but you don't necessarily have to... it's not a nil-sum gain, is it? You know, you don't have to make a film historically accurate to make it enjoyable for a general audience. But again, I'm going to get to the general points at the end.
Take the throne.
And then I assume, as I say, that's him returning back from Elba. This here is the what's it called? The Brumiere is the I want to say the revolt of Brumiere, but it's not, is it? It's the coup of Brumiere. So this is anyone who's seen my Swiss Guard video, my Imperial Guard video will know that these are the guys who are going into the council chamber. So again, let's just skip back here. Again, really like this. The fashions of the time, you've got the wigs, you've got, it looks almost incongruous. You've got these guys who look almost 70 years wary, but they're not, and they are meeting a thing. I really, really like this. You've got the grenadiers. They've got the bearskins on with the plates at the front and the red cords hanging down. That's good. These are excellent old guard uniforms. Very happy with that. Excellent. Great stuff.
Shall we vote?
Now, that's not exactly how it went down. They actually cleared the chamber of anyone who was going to vote against him. But again, I absolutely love it. It's great. Got no problems with that. It's a great scene. Love it. Also, sorry, just quickly scroll back. They've all got the briquettes as well and the bayonets in the frog. So fantastic. Really good details to uniforms there. Happy with that. Good stuff. Again, Napoleon's back in his blue coat there with all his braiding on, which makes me think again that the former one, when they're all mobbing him, that's actually from his return from Elba. So let's go on. This, I think, is going to be a really interesting scene. It doesn't really show much. It shows him crowning himself, which of course he did. Now he took the crown off of the Pope and crowned himself. I'm hoping that they do the shot that is the famous painting of his coronation, where Josephine is like kneeling before him. I hope that shot is in the film. We had the shot of him before the Sphinx. Where was that one? It was where was it? It was after Toulon. So we've got this shot here. So we've got this shot here, which is obviously the famous painting. So I'm really hoping that we have the one of him crowning himself as Josephine bows her head. This is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know where this is filmed. This is absolutely beautiful. Scenes like this often are filmed in Greenwich. This is not Greenwich, so that's nice. It's probably somewhere in France. Might even be in somewhere like Fontainebleau or somewhere like that. It might even be at Versailles. I don't think it will be, but no, that's it's a gorgeous location. So that's him crowning himself. That's him coming out. This again, I assume, is Josephine. She's actually combed her hair this time. She's clearly being shown here as something of a power behind the throne. Again, no problem with that. That's one of the criticisms I had about her not being older and more experienced than Napoleon, was that she very much was a driving force behind him. It's good to see does that sort of knowing look behind him of she's finally got him into a position where she thinks he should be. In the background, you can hear them shouting, "Long live the Emperor! Vive l'Empereur!" Is I often cry as my as my men get slaughtered by General Dan. You can see here he's got the golden laurel crown on. Again, fantastic. There's a lot of busts of him wearing that, but just his face, he looks so old. I mean, I'm certainly going to be seeing this at the IMAX, and seeing that face at 15, 20 feet high, he looks absolutely ancient. But, you know, whatever. So, witness the rise, it says. Now, we've got some Brits here, by the looks of things. Let's have a look. Now, this, I assume, is Waterloo. And I assume it's Waterloo for several reasons. One, you've got the flag here. Now, having seen the number of tricklers that are about, I wouldn't necessarily rely on the historical accuracy of flags. But you can see you've got the diagonal stripes there. So that means that it was after the Act of Union 1808. So it won't be something like the attack on Flushing or something like that. This, I assume, is Waterloo. It looks pretty muddy. It looks like the Brits are on a hill as well. Certainly doesn't look like Spain. So one assumes that this is Waterloo. This here, of course, the British square with the croziers going around it. Now, these guys have got tricklers. Absolutely fantastic. Happy with that. If it is Waterloo, they should have tricklers. So, nope, no problem there. Let me I want to get a picture of that square. Right, here we are. This square is a fantastic representation of a British square. Really, really good. It's you've got the colour party and the officers in the centre. And you've got 4 ranks of troops. The front 2 ranks kneeling, second 2 ranks standing and firing. You've got the odd shot now and again, which is, yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. Love it. Great. The fact that the cavalry are circling around it. The croziers should have pistols. Like, you might see the odd one of them firing. But overall, they're pretty useless against that square. Great. Love it. I like the fact that they've gone for a unit with yellow facings, because the yellow against the red looks really good. This is very dark. It's a very dark scene, this one. I don't mean dark as in, like, theme. I mean dark as in the lighting's very dark. Obviously, Waterloo, it rained the night before, but it is on June the 18th. So I seem to recall, I don't know how bright the day was, but yeah, they've obviously filmed this very dark as opposed to the saturated colours they had earlier on. This here, one can only assume, is the burning of Moscow. So it looks like we're going to get some Russia action. And that's doubled by this here, which is him in the snow. Let me see if I can pause it then. Ah! Is that Colin Firth who plays the Duke, by the way? Not sure. But anyway, this is the Duke. We like to see him. It looks a bit like Bruce Campbell. That's Napoleon saying very much tonight to Josephine. Well, I mean, I don't mind that. He was into that after all. Now, this shot here is of him getting busy with Josephine. I don't mind that. This here is interesting. This is his red velvet uniform. Now, there's a portrait of him wearing this uniform, which is quite good. It's nice. It's nicely brocaded. And it looks like the one in the portrait. So happy with that. That's pretty solid. Now let's go back here. Oh. So we've got here, I don't know what he's doing. Maybe he's in Berlin. Maybe he's in Moscow again or something. I don't really know. This guy here, he's got his Chasseur Cheval of the Guard uniform on. We like to see that. That's very good. So is this guy. Some sort of rando civilians, whatever. That's a gorgeous uniform, though. Really like to see that.
I think you're great.
This here, I think it's Chasseur Cheval of the Guard, isn't it? I think so. I should know because I'm just about to start painting them, so I'll have to check that. This here is Napoleon's Berlin carriage, so that's cool. It's driven by a carriage driver. Shame that's not Roostrum or Ali, but you know, again, you can't have everything. This is presumably quite early on when he's still a general. He's wearing his general's uniform there, so this might be after the siege of Toulon or after the whiff of grape shot, something like that. So. So we had Josephine there saying to Napoleon, you are just a tiny little brute who is nothing without me. Someone mentioned in the chat earlier on, I am sort of seeing the chat. Let me see if I can go. The synopsis for the film is told through the lens of his wife Josephine. Is that confirmed? That's she wasn't in Egypt. So he said someone made the comment of let's hope this isn't secretly a Josephine girl boss movie. And I agree. However, if there is to be anyone that is a girl boss, then I don't mind it being Josephine because she was pretty important in Napoleon in general. I'm guessing they couldn't recruit the Russian army. No, they're a little busy there. So this here, now this is an interesting one. I'm not really sure where this is supposed to be. Possibly Moscow. Not 100% sure. It looks a bit snowy. It's overcast again, so it's certainly not Spain. I thought it might have been Madrid at first, but it's not there. What's this over here? Well, there's like a bit of an onion dome. I'm assuming this is Moscow. He's on Marengo here, so that's fair enough, though. Yeah, he's in his Colonel of the Chasseurs uniform, so again, this will be a bit later. Now, this here is an interesting one because I wasn't 100% sure what this is supposed to be. I'm not sure if it's, I assume it's 1813 because you've got the Austrians, the Prussians, the English. Now, I'm not sure where the English were in 1813, nowhere near Paris. Down here, it says Paris. So this is obviously the Seine, and that's Paris there. What the Brits are doing there, I don't really know. So that makes me think, well, it could be the Waterloo. That would make more sense to me. But then what the Austrians doing there? I don't know. And certainly if the Austrians are there, why aren't the Russians there? But I don't know. Maybe that was Russian and it got changed for Austrians because of the current situation. Who knows? Who knows? But I assume this is talking about the 100 days. That's not a contemporary Austrian flag. Actually, yeah, no. It would have been the would it have been the eagle on a yellow background? I don't know.
Forces against me.
Now, we go back in time here because this is Austerlitz. Now, this is fantastic. This here, again, this is a really good, this is the bush, the toilet cleaner that I call it. Oh, yeah, would it have been black and yellow? Yeah, I guess it would have been black and yellow, wouldn't it? So this is the Russian pre-1812 plume on their Shakos. Super happy to see that. This here, now, this is a hussar charge by the looks of things. These Shako, these will be Russians because we've got this dude here. He's wearing a Russian heavy cavalry helmet. So that's he's going to either be a dragoon or probably more likely a cuirassier. He's got one on there as well. Although he looks more like an Austrian. So anyway, this is Austerlitz. Oh yeah, he's back here. He's definitely an Austrian. So these might be Austrians then.
Your Majesty, we are discovered. Good.
Now that's sort of going back, saying that there was some sort of French ambush at Austerlitz. So that's not the case at all. The French were actually the aggressors at Austerlitz. In fact, Napoleon's genius was to remove himself from the defensible high ground and then attack it the next day. So again, you know, it's not particularly historically accurate, but whatever, I don't care. This is a fantastic shot. You've got the old guard in the background there. Their long blue greatcoats on. Again, the bearskins. You got more over here. It looks like they're both regiments of grenadiers. It would have been nice to see a chasseur regiment, but I mean, I'm certainly not going to cry about that. So yeah, no, it's good. Now let's just go back here. There's the Austrian. So he's definitely an Austrian. Are there any Russians here? Doesn't look like it. He might be a dragoon. So yeah, no, this is. I mean, again, that's a beautiful shot. Him holding the standard there. Oh no, sorry, I should have said earlier on as well. Let me scroll back. I skipped over that. So the Russians and the Austrians here are running away, and they're over the frozen lakes. Now, these are actually fish ponds. They weren't that deep. They certainly weren't as deep as we're about to see. And the Austrians and the Russians did know that they were there. So they weren't. It wasn't like an ambush. He did it over the ice, a bit like Twilight, the last Twilight film. Not that I've seen it, obviously, but yeah, it wasn't quite like that. So they were unveiling the guns here over under a tarp. It didn't happen, but I mean, whatever. At this point, it doesn't really matter. These, again, they look like sort of medium guns. Too big for 6-pounders, too small for 12s. This one back here, that looks like a 12, but we'll see. So the cannonballs blasting through the ice, sending people to an icy death. That did actually happen, but it didn't. That did actually happen, but perhaps not on the scale that's coming through here. I have seen the last Twilight film, much to my shame.
I simply never do.
So sorry, I was talking over Napoleon there.
I simply never do.
So he says he's always happy to apologise for making a mistake. He just never does. And then we end up with the end card, Napoleon, with the title of the film. I don't know who this David Scarpa geezer is. Yeah, I don't know who he is, but I'll have to check to see what else he's written. And then we get the release date, November 22nd, which is good, because in the previous trailer it said Thanksgiving, which is of absolutely no use to me whatsoever. And there we go. That's it. That's Napoleon. So there we are. So overall, what do I think of the trailer? Well, it's got some absolutely glaring historical inaccuracies in it. Some huge, some small, some personal bugbears of mine, some that aren't really that important in the grand scheme of things. Do I think it's going to be a spectacle? I absolutely think it's going to be a spectacle. I think it's going to be a film that really drives interest in Napoleon and Napoleonic Wargaming. I think the battle scenes look absolutely fantastic. Again, maybe historically dubious, but fantastic nonetheless. So that's it for today. I just wanted to go through that trailer. I think considering that it's 2 minutes and 36 seconds long, I think we've done a pretty good job in stringing that out for 43.5 minutes. So the most important question, will we see something 1809? Well, that's a big question. I don't know. There was nothing in the trailer. Scarpa wrote the Daily Erster still. Okay, I've not seen that one. That's the Keanu Reeves one, isn't it? So I've not seen that one. I'm sure Kubrick's version would have been 1,000 times better. It probably would. But there you go. I think that this is going to be absolutely fantastic. I cannot wait to see this film. Yes, there's going to be a lot of historical inaccuracies. However, I just don't care. Marlon Brando does look fantastic as Napoleon. That is true, but his is more of a melodrama. You know what? I say his is more of a melodrama. I absolutely love melodramas. I can pretend I don't, but Casablanca is my favorite film of all time. So there you go. So there it is. That's it. That's my reaction to the Napoleon trailer. I was hoping to do like a Streamlabs thing, but those of you who have arrived late, I was hoping to do that, but my technical expertise does nowhere near appeal to it. I might do stuff like that in future. When the film comes out, I might do a full review of it. I might look at some other films as well. So we'll see how it goes. But I want to say thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you've enjoyed the trailer as well. It should have been a trilogy The Brotherhood of the Revolution, The Two Eagles, and The Return of the Emperor. That would have been quite good. At first when I saw Apple were making it, I thought it was going to be a series, but it's a lot to get in. Someone said that in the comments. To go through his entire career from Toulon to Waterloo is a lot to pack in. That is faux shiz. It's 2.5 hours long, the film. I'm assuming there'll be a director's cut, which will probably be 3.25 hours. It is Ridley Scott after all. But Waterloo Watch Party would be cool, yeah. But that's it. So I hope you guys are as excited about it as I am. I'm sure they'll be doing other trailers. If they are sufficiently different, I might do another video on that. I was a bit like, what do you all think of the grape shot bit? It seemed okay. Yeah. I think the cannons look like they look too big, but apart from that, it looks okay. So there you go, guys. That's it. I'm going to knock it on the head there. Remember, there's no video this weekend because I am in Boards and Swords in Derby. I am doing a Warhammer tournament there. If you're ever in and around Derby, pop in and see those guys. They are top blokes and they are very Napoleonic focused. They do a glorious 1st of June and a Trafalgar video each year. Game each year. And I'll hopefully be going to the Trafalgar one this Trafalgar Day, but we'll see how it goes. If you liked the Whiff of Grape Shot thing, then check out the it's a film about the Russian Guard revolt of 1825. Can't remember what it's called. Someone will mention it. That's got I say it's a good scene of firing grape shot. It's not good to be on the end of. But thank you very much, guys, and I will see you next Wednesday for another live stream where we'll be cracking on with some more painting. Thanks, guys. Bye.